Welcome in, boys and girls, to another edition of Berg is the Word, and the Raiders take care of the Bears in London. Raiders beating the Bears 24-21. I'm going to break this game down for you really quickly. It was a tale of two halves in this one. Oakland getting out to a 17-point lead over the Bears in Chicago, and the Bears were not able to come back and win. At one point, the Bears scored 21 straight points, but it wasn't enough. And why wasn't enough? Because the Bears put themselves in a situation to where it was an insurmountable lead. They played so poorly in the first half, they weren't able to get it done. A couple keys to this game. Oakland absolutely dominated time of possession. Time of possession doesn't always tell the story, but Oakland had the ball for nearly 35 minutes in this one, and the Bears only 25. The Bears defense almost has to play perfect for them to win, and it's a huge problem for Chicago moving forward, especially because we don't know how long Mitchell Trubisky will be out, and this offense has problems. And I think that's the underlying problem moving forward, and especially the Bears' ground game, not able to get going. Only 42 yards on the ground today. And this is why you drafted running back David Montgomery, and they have not gotten the production out of Montgomery this season. Chase Daniel had 2 interceptions. That was huge. The interception at the end, clearly a miscommunication. But the Bears have to improve offensively if they actually want to contend in the NFC this season. And I think this game really underscored the fact of how much this team relies upon its defense. A key stat for you that I think will blow Bears fans' minds. Going into this game, the Bears had allowed fewer than 20 points in their last 8 consecutive games. It was the longest active streak in the NFL that is snapped after today in the 24-21 loss. Again, I'm going to say that again just for some of you who might be watching. Going into today's game, the Bears had allowed fewer than 20 points in 8 consecutive games. That streak is snapped today in the team's 24-21 loss to the Oakland Raiders. That streak was the longest active streak in the NFL, no longer there. If you watched the game, I would love to know what you thought of it, so feel free to weigh in throughout this discussion, or if you're watching after the fact. But if you're going on total yardage too, I'm going to get you some team stats now, as well as I load this up on my computer. But team stats, it just, the Bears offensively aren't getting the production that they need. And it's not just one guy. It's not just Chase Daniel. I thought Allen Robinson played really, really well today for Chicago, but they need to do a better job of moving the football down the field. So I'm still trying to get these team stats to load up here. Give me just a second as some of these still load on my computer. Chase Daniel was 22 of 30. He had 231 yards through the air, 2 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions. Derek Carr, 25 of 32, 229 yards through the air. David Montgomery, again, he was the Bears draft pick, the running back out of Iowa State. He had 11 carries for only 25 yards today. The Bears have to figure out a way to get the running game going. I think Chase Daniel, other than the interceptions, actually played pretty well. I mean, he's played about as well as you could expect from a backup. But the Bears aren't moving the football from an offensive standpoint. They're not. They're not right now. And you can't keep relying upon it. It just seems very, very one-dimensional. Let's try to get the ball to Allen Robinson, or let's try to get the ball to Tariq Cohen in space. It hasn't worked. It has not worked, and it's been frustrating at times. But Montgomery, only 25 yards on the ground. Bears need more production out of him. They need more production out of him. I don't think that's all on him. I think that has to do with the offensive line. They got to be more creative too. Robinson has had a reception in each of his 61 games that he's played. That's the 3rd longest active streak for the Bears. Tariq Cohen with the punt return too. In the 3rd quarter, the Bears were rolling, scoring 21 consecutive points after trailing at halftime 17-0. And then the Raiders able to score late in the 4th quarter. Bears needed a drive with less than 2 minutes, but they had 2 timeouts. And again, the miscommunication led to the interception. And the Bears now 3-2 on the season. The Raiders improved to 3-2. But the Bears needed this game today, especially against a Raiders team that was an underdog headed into today as a 6.5-point underdog. The Bears were favored by nearly a touchdown and an extra point in today's game, and they weren't able to get it done. Just were not able to get it done. And we'll see what the Bears do moving forward. Next week, the Bears have the New Orleans Saints they'll have the bye week and then the New Orleans Saints. So the Bears will have a bye, then they've got New Orleans, and that'll be at home at Soldier Field. As for the Raiders, they have a bye, and then they're going to play Green Bay in Green Bay. But think about this if you're the Raiders, too. You don't have Vontaze Burfict. You don't have Tyrell Williams. No J.J. Nelson. No Clelin Ferrell, Dwayne Harris. And they were able to get it done. And the Raiders were able to get it done today. One of the highlights I thought was on the sideline was John Gruden just looked absolutely furious on the sidelines. If you were reading his lips throughout the game in the second half, and the Raiders very nearly blew it, but the Josh Jacobs touchdown able to put the Raiders over the top, and the Raiders led for good following his touchdown. But total yardage for the Bears today, 236 total yards today against Oakland. Oakland had nearly 398 yards for Oakland total yardage. So the Bears, and again, you go between the total yardage and the time possession, that told the story. And really, again, if you're looking for a big storyline, a tale of two halves. Oakland went into this game with a 17-point lead at halftime. They very nearly blew it. Again, the Bears led at 1 point, 21-17. The Raiders do get a touchdown in the second half, and that puts them over the top for good. But the Bears really, if they could have even gotten one score in the first half, they wouldn't have put themselves in the situation to have to try to erase a 17-point deficit in the second half. And again, I think keys to this, if the Bears are only going to get 42 yards on the ground from their running game, they've got to get the running game going. And I've talked about this on this discussion before, on this podcast before, is you got to play complementary football. And that goes, the defense turning the ball over and putting the offense in favorable situations. And then on the flip side of that, too, if you get the passing game going, that opens up and the defense puts less people in the box, then you can run the football. And then if you can run the football, the defense is forced to put more men in the box and you can pass the ball. The Bears aren't doing that right now from an offensive standpoint. 42 yards total rushing for Chicago in today's game. They've got to do better offensively. And I've said this before, too. If the Bears' offense is even competent, halfway competent, you have a really, really star-studded defense. But they were not able to get it done. I would be curious to see, if you could give these coaches or players truth serum, whether or not there were any lingering effects from playing this game in London with the time change. And they still decided to play this game for a 1 o'clock Eastern time kickoff. I don't really understand that, because I know the game next weekend, I believe it'll be Tampa Bay and Carolina. That'll be an early start. I know that kickoff is earlier. I think it's at 9:30 Eastern time. So they're playing that earlier in the day. I really don't understand the 1 o'clock kickoff, considering the time change between the United States and London, where this game was played today. Someone says time has nothing to do with it. I think there should be a study about that, though. I'm gonna agree to disagree with you here, respectfully. I think the time difference, I do think it's an excuse, but I would like to see. I agree with you, because both teams have to deal with it. I certainly understand your point. All I'm saying is I would like to see teams that decide when they decide to go over, if they decide to go over a full week, or if they decide to go. I believe the Bears went over on Thursday. So whether you spend the whole week and then adjust your body to the time difference, or if you go over Thursday, that is more so what I'm talking about. Again, if you're just joining, the Bears falling to the Oakland Raiders, and a few keys to this game. Again, Oakland dominated time of possession, holding the ball for 35 out of the 60 minutes in today's game. Also, the Bears running game, not able to get going. Again, the Bears total offense held to 236 yards, only 42 yards rushing total for Chicago in today's game. And again, Oakland got out to that huge lead, 17-0 to start the game. 17-0, 17 points for Oakland in the second quarter. The Bears came storming back in the third quarter, scoring 21 unanswered. And then the Raiders able to get a late touchdown in the fourth quarter, less than 2 minutes remaining, and Chase Daniel throws an interception. He had one more possession after that with probably less than 20 seconds left. But the Bears didn't have any timeouts, and it was too little, too late. But Josh Jacobs able to get the second half touchdown for Oakland, and Oakland able to take care of Chicago in today's game. Oakland got 169 yards on the ground today, too. Again, you compare that with the Bears' 42 total. And again, I don't think either quarterback played all that well, but the running game, and in terms of being able to control the clock, in the Bears defense, as great as it is, being forced to stay on the field against this Oakland offense, and the Bears not able to get going at all in the first half. It was truly a tale of two halves. Again, my name is Mark Bergin. If you enjoyed this discussion, please feel free to share it with your friends on your timeline. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I'm going to break down the Bucs-Saints game shortly after this, so tune in afterwards to watch that. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays. I'll see you next time. So long, everyone.